Welcome to NACTV Reads the Banner. My name is Catherine Jasnick, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. You may be joining us online, Neepawa Access Live, WCG 12, Channel 30 Direct Sightline, MTS, or Bell Express View. These broadcasts are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, and donations by viewers like yourself. If you enjoy what you see and hear, please consider supporting us by a donation or by volunteering. Contact our office at 204-476-2639 or NACTV at wcgwave.ca. Today I am reading the Neepawa Banner dated May the 5th, 2017. And on the front page we have a really nice picture of the Gladstone Auction Mart and the action that's taking place in it. And that shows Margaret Smart, who is the sales clerk, and Tyler Slavinsky, who emceed, working with competitor Brad Keeler from Grunthal, Manitoba. Keeler placed 5th and took home the top rookie award at the 2017 Manitoba-Saskatchewan Auctioneer Competition. It was held on April 29th at the Gladstone Auction Mart. The 2017 Manitoba-Saskatchewan Auctioneer Competition brought some of the best auctioneers the two provinces have to offer to the Gladstone Auction Mart on Saturday, April the 29th. According to Rick Wright, chair of the Manitoba-Saskatchewan Auction Competition and administrator for Manitoba Livestock Marketing Association, it's an event we put together to recognize the auctioneers and how important they are to the auction industry and to the cattle business, and how hard they work for their producers each and every day. The competition has been shared between provinces for over 25 years. This being the first year Gladstone has ever hosted the event. 12 well-dressed, fast talkers started out the day, each giving 10 drafts of cattle to sell, as well as black box items, which were graciously donated by local businesses. They were judged by 6 professional auctioneers, cattle buyers, and auction mart operators on rhythm, clarity, voice control, and professionalism. 5 finalists were chosen to compete again in a second round, with winners being announced at the awards banquet at the Gladstone District Community Centre later that evening. The Rookie Award went to Brad Keeler, Grunthal, Manitoba, and it was sponsored by the Wright family in memory of Bob Wright, a well-known and respected auctioneer from Boissevain, Manitoba. The 55 plus was Ken McDonald from Indian Head, Saskatchewan, and works at Supreme Auctions. 5th place was Brad Keeler, Grunthal, Manitoba, from Grunthal Auction Mart. Fourth place was Rick Wright, Virden, Manitoba, Heartland Order Buying Company. 3rd place was Kim Crandall, Winnipegosis, Manitoba, St. Rose Auction Mart. 2nd place was Brock Taylor, Melita, Manitoba, Taylor Auctions, Assembly and Exports. And 1st place went to Tyler Cronkite of Maple Creek, Saskatchewan, of Cowtown Livestock Exchange. This was Tyler Cronkite's first win at an auctioneering competition, and he chalks it all up to practice. I had a lot of people tell me that to be a successful cattle auctioneer, it takes 10 years and it's banging on the door. This year being 10 years and finally feeling comfortable getting up there and rattling on. Cronkite received a $500 handcrafted belt buckle sponsored by Muriel Canada and their long shot program, plus $1,000 cash, sponsored by the livestock markets of Saskatchewan. towards his transportation to the Livestock Markets Association Auctioneering Championships in Lethbridge, Alberta, on May the 11th to the 14th. And there's a photo showing him being presented with his award by Scott Anderson, president of the Manitoba Livestock Marketing Association. And if any of you have ever been to an auction of any kind, it's so interesting listening to the auctioneers. We should get them to do the paper here someday and see how many people catch what's being said. And Rotarians offer recognition. On April 27th, the Rotary Club of Neepawa held their annual Paul Harris banquet at the Neepawa Legion Hall. The evening included the presentation of Paul Harris Fellowships to members, in addition to 2 special presentations. The Tony Otten Award was presented to Rotarian Nikki Free, and a special community fellowship was presented to Hallie Kraseniuk, a member of the 2016-2017 National Women's Hockey Team. And in the top photo, hopefully you can see it, was District 5550 Governor Rod Riopel presenting the Paul Harris Club Community Fellowship Award to Hallie Kraseniuk, who was introduced by Neepawa Rotarian President Don Schmall on the right. And the second photo shows one of the guest speakers, and this was the Honorable Janice C. Philman, Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba and Independent Senator for Manitoba. The Honorable Mary Lou McFedrum is the photo just below, who spoke as well. So there was some very distinguished delegates at the banquet. And students collect money to delay the day. Under the photo, on April 26th, Hope members Taylor Johnson and Kylie Birch were busy counting the donations that had come in during this year's Delay the Day fundraiser. In total, NACI students raised $1,362. And the articles says, just how much will NACI students pay to delay the start of their school day? Last month, Hope, NACI's social justice group, found that the answer was $1,362. On April 26th, the Hope students held their popular Delay the Day fundraiser. Claire Brister, a grade 10 student and Hope member, explained that each classroom from grade 6 to grade 12 gets a jar. The students bring in coins to fill up the jars, and on Delay the Day, every student's first class was delayed by the time it took their teacher to roll the collected coins. While the campaign ran for about a week, most of the money came in the day of the event. The breakdown proved which classes were least popular. Taylor Johnson, another grade 10 student and Hope member, was in the class that raised the most money. Students in her English class brought in a total of $127. More than once, she had to head back to get more coin wrappers. The maximum amount of time the day could be delayed was the entire first period, which lasts 1 hour. Because of the amount of money brought in, most students had all or almost all of the first period as free time. They used this time to catch up on homework, read, draw, or play games with their friends. While the fundraiser has been done before, this was the first year that the school's middle year students were also involved. And carrying over to page 18, it proved to be a success. They brought a lot, said Brister. The goal was to raise $800, and the students far exceeded that amount. The money raised at Delay the Day was earmarked for Haiti, the country the students had pledged to support. In total, the school sent $2,000 to help the country hit by Hurricane Matthew last October. Hope was able to get their donation matched by Save the Children, helping the money stretch further than it would have otherwise. This event was the group's last major fundraiser of the year, although 6 middle year students will be attending the We Schools Youth Summit on May the 5th. Michelle Young, one of the teachers' advisors, explained that those attending will gain leadership skills and hopefully come back with new ideas for the group to implement next year. Those students are doing some really great work. Good for them. And having a fair old time in Neepawa. Later this month, the Neepawa Fair will return for a fun-filled weekend. Being held May the 26th to the 28th, the 2017 edition of the fair will be building off last year's event with a few additions. The event is organized by the Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber President Jeff Braun explains that the 2017 fair will be keeping a similar format to previous years, with a few additions. An extra day of live entertainment is just one of those changes. This year, live entertainment will be taking place at the Neepawa Fairgrounds on both Friday and Saturday night. Last year, poor weather forced a last-minute change of venue, bringing the band from outside into the indoor arena. It turned out to be a success, and this year, Braun says they booked the arena in order to provide Neepawa's own Party in the Dirt. The Saturday parade will be returning, including the antique cars and tractors. Once the parade is done, these vehicles will head down to the fairgrounds for a show. New to this year will also be a kids' bike parade, taking place before the main parade. The Midway will be returning with a similar offering as last year. For those less interested in the rides, there will be vendors set up. Also at the fairground on Saturday will be children's activities, including glitter tattoos, a small animal farm, and pony rides. The Mutt Marathon will be returning on Sunday morning. At this point, the Chamber is looking for help from the community. They are looking for volunteers to help with some setup and tear down, but they are also asking people to get the word out to friends and family that the fair is coming. Anyone holding an event that weekend can contact the Chamber office to have it included in the list of fair events. We had a great year last year, said Braun, adding that going forward, they're trying to build off of that success. Let's hope that the weather cooperates this year for it, because it's a great activity. And this article is by Home Assistance Neepawa District, locally known as HAND, and it's titled, Next Week, Let No One Be Alone. Let No One Be Alone began in 2012. The initiative was the brainchild of a seniors resource coordinator in Plumas, and has become a provincial program with seniors resource coordinators. This week, taking place May 7th to 13th, is a time to be aware of the many seniors living alone and to encourage family, friends, and neighbors to reach out, to visit, call, or reconnect with someone you may know. It may be as simple as a phone call, dropping by for a visit, going out for a drive, running an errand, or inviting someone for a meal. On Thursday, May the 11th, HAND's Congregate Meal Program will be serving a roast beef dinner with all the fixins and entertainment by Betty McLaren. Dinner will be served at 11:45 a.m. in the Yellowhead Manor. It's at 310 Davidson Street in their dining room. We ask that you pre-book by calling Vicki at 204-476-5218 any Tuesday to Friday by 9 a.m. We are fortunate to partner with our local handy van. To get a ride to and from the meal, please call 204-476-2828. The deal is a meal and a ride for a reasonable fee. If you invite someone new to join you for the May 11th celebration and bring the coupon from the banner, You will receive a discount for that day. For a time of socialization, entertainment, and a tasty roast beef dinner, please come and join us. You may also want to take the time to check out the Neepawa District Drop-In, where members gather to play cards, pool, floor shuffling, and floor curling. Activities in the center take place from mid-August to late spring every year. This is a warm, friendly place to spend quality time during the winter months. The drop-in also has a great group of ladies who meet twice weekly to quilt and visit in the drop-in craft room. Home Assistance Neepawa District Seniors Program is available to assist seniors in various ways, and you are encouraged to visit the office located at 430 Brown via email at handsup@wcgwave.ca or call 204-476-26009. And the coupon is on this very same page, and there's $1 off the roast beef dinner, which is $10 if you attend. And People Helping People for 25 years. A new organization for Neepawa was formed in 1991 with United Commercial Travelers instituting Council number 924, sponsored by Brandon Council number 448. United Commercial Travelers is more commonly known as the UCT. It is a fraternal benefit society dedicated to people helping people. Our goals are to improve fellowship, to discover the best in ourselves and others, and to derive satisfaction from helping others. UCT was formed in 1888 in Columbus, Ohio, by a group of traveling salesmen. It is a North American organization with 3 levels of government: local, regional, and international. Head office is in Columbus, Ohio, with a Canadian office in Calgary. Our council projects are helping persons with intellectual disabilities, youth, cancer care, safety, and community activities. Projects we have supported since 1991 include Touchwood Park activities, Special Olympics, and NACI special education classes, furnishing the first palliative care patient room at the Neepawa Hospital, Waves of Hope, Alex Delaloy Charitable Golf Tournament, Neepawa Natives safety cards with safety tips on the back, Neepawa Figure Skating Club, safety poster contests, minor hockey, baseball, volleyball, soccer, junior rifle club, 3 blood donor clinics a year, hosting one of the community flu clinics each year, Beautiful Plains Agriculture Society, 4-H programs, Join Hands Day, junior golf and curling, junior horticultural club, Manitoba High School rodeo, locally and provincially, and 2 Neepawa boys who qualified and attended the UCT International Golf Tournament in Florida. It's quite the list. We donated $10,000 to the building of Country Meadows Personal Care Home, the Yellowhead Arena, BPAS Agriculture Complex, Neepawa Access TV Channel, Roxy Theater, Salvation Army, Citizens on Patrol, Alzheimer's Memory Walk have also received our support. We built our own Neepawa UCT float for local parades. For one of our safety programs, we have hosted a progressive farm safety day for Carberry and Neepawa grade 5 and 6 students since 2003. It was held every year for grade 5 students until 2012. Since 2014, we co-hosted it every other year for grade 5 and grade 6 students. This day is one of our largest undertakings, and we hope that we have helped prevent some serious accidents or even deaths. The cost over the years for this event has been over $30,000. We have also sponsored a speaker from an Ontario penitentiary to speak at local schools on drug awareness. We believe that the donations and volunteer hours completed by Neepawa UCT members in the past 25 years have exceeded $250,000, which has benefited our community. Some of our members' children or grandchildren have benefited from receiving the May E. Tisdale Scholarship, valued at $500 each. Over 40 students from our membership have been awarded over $20,000. 3 local students received funding from UCT Charities Fund towards their education to teach special needs children. We supported a member on a student exchange and have also held 2 benefit socials for members. To fund all these programs, we have sold many tickets, held a bingo. In the early 1990s, we held an annual steak barbecue and a live band of donated goods held at the Lions River Bend Park, held a pig plop at the same event, catered to social events, auction sales, and weddings, sponsored a country blend dinner and concert show, and Scott Woods several times, hosted 2 Manitoba-Saskatchewan regional conventions, snowmobile trail rides, and an annual tag day, handing out seed packets for a donation. We also participate in an annual UCT ticket raffle within Manitoba, our largest yearly fundraiser. Since 2001, we also have completed the Medal of Honor program, qualifying for gold for 13 years at $750 each, and the Community Award for $100 in 2012 and 2013, totaling $9,950, which was received by Neepawa Council from head office. Each year, UCT has a number of social events, such as potluck suppers, barbecues, Christmas bowling party, curling bonspiels, and golf tournaments. In the beginning, we held our regular monthly supper meetings at the Touchwood Park Activities Center. A few years later, our meetings were held at the IOOF Hall with the Oddfellows and Rebecca's Catering. We now hold most of our meetings at the Neepawa Drop-In Center. Occasionally, we have a supper meeting at one of the restaurants in town or at the Neepawa Golf Club. We have also met at the Aspen Lee Common Room with a potluck supper or enjoyed a barbecue at Rotary Park along with our business meeting. At this present time, our membership is approximately 115, with members living in BC and in Winnipeg, Portage la Prairie, Balder, Carberry, Virden, Gladstone, and of course, the majority of our members are from the Neepawa area. UCT members are community-minded people who continue to volunteer for many events. UCT membership is open to men and women ages 16 and up. Members receive hotel discounts. Insurance coverage is optional to any member, and some of our members have received substantial benefits from minimal premiums. Neepawa UCT members celebrated the 25th anniversary of the Council on November 15, 2016 at the Arts Forward Center. It entailed a social event, great entertainment, and a delicious dinner attended by 45 members and guests. Following supper, letters of congratulations from various political levels were read. Special guest Dave Powitz, former UCT Canadian Marketing Manager, spoke on how the Neepawa Council began in 1991. We were then entertained by the Neepawa Junior Scottish Dancers, followed with a reading of the past 25 years' history and cutting the 25th anniversary cake. We are satisfied with the assistance we have been able to provide to date and hope we can continue in the same or even higher rate in the future. My goodness, I had no idea that they were involved in so many things. What a great organization. And editor Kate Jackman Atkinson's My Perspective column called Fake News, Real Problems. The news media in general has taken a bit of a beating over the last decade, but these days the public is being reminded of the industry's continued relevance thanks to an unexpected source, the rise of fake news. Fake news and its relative alternate facts have been buzzwords driven into the public consciousness by Donald Trump's American presidency. While Trump's definition of fake news might be a little more broad than most, we have all seen links to entirely fabricated stories with wild headlines. I've seen them everywhere. Fake news is anything that is not grounded in facts and research, that presents itself as news. It's like satire, but serious. It usually reinforces a strong bias and exists to entice you to click on the story. The catch is the click, because hits on the page translate into ad views, and that revenue is why most fake news sites exist. It's essentially an advertising scam. Fake news is a serious problem because in many cases people are ill-equipped to sort the fact from fiction. Earlier this year, YouGov, an international and market research firm, conducted a study to see if Britons could tell the difference between fake and real news. The 1,684 adults were presented with 6 headlines, 3 of which were legitimate and 3 of which were completely fabricated. Only 4% of respondents correctly identified all the fake news stories. The headlines were, "Immigrants to be given £8,500 upon arrival to boost economy." That was fake. "Tourist bitten by massive crocodile after trying to take a selfie." That was real. "Iceland to host New Year's Eve party for asylum seekers." And that was real. "Essex villages High Easter and Good Easter forced to change offensive names after complaints." And that was fake. "Trump offering free one-way tickets to Africa, Mexico for those who want to leave America." That was fake. "Donald Trump picks millionaire oil boss with close links to Vladimir Putin as Secretary of State." And that was real. When truth is at times stranger than fiction, judging a story entirely from its headline can be a bit difficult. But I would hope that reading the stories, which included completely fabricated quotes, businesses that no longer exist, and spokespeople with names too good to be true, would tip people off. Even in Canada, fake news exists. Last week, Abacus Data released their report outlining how Canadians view media. The survey looked at characteristics such as the quality of journalism and perceived biases in national media outlets. It also looked at fake news. According to the survey respondents, 85% said that they have been exposed to fake news stories, and 47% that they have been exposed to quite a few. Most who were exposed to the fake news stories read them, 57%. And about half of those who read the fake news stories said that they were misled and their views affected. In other words, they didn't realize the stories weren't real. Fake news operates on a range from completely fabricated to very heavily biased. It's the completely fabricated ones that concern me the most. At least with the heavily biased stories, they are based in some fact, and there's usually opposing take on the same event somewhere out there. It's work, but we can find the common ground ourselves as readers. Fake news has presented an opportunity for established media outlets to reach out to a public who wants to be informed but doesn't know where to turn. Earlier this year, the New York Times rolled out a widespread ad campaign titled "The Truth is Hard," which centered around the paper's pursuit of the truth. In February, the Washington Post debuted a new slogan under its online edition masthead, which read, "Democracy dies in darkness." Accurate reporting is vital to our communities, provinces, countries, and international relations, and the rise of fake news has underscored just how important real news is. It has brought increased interest in the work reporters, photographers, editors, and producers are doing day in and day out. For that, we can find one good thing that has come out of the fake news phenomena. And I'm going to read owner of the Neepawa Banner's column entitled, "We Need to Stand Up for Ourselves," and this is by Ken Waddell. I apologize if this column is a bit too personal or a bit too centered on Neepawa. However, there is a strong message here for all communities. As I write this column on Tuesday morning, I am sitting with my wife, Christine, who is less than 24 hours out of surgery. The operation went well, and she is recovering okay. Not sure how long she will be in hospital. Anyway, Christine has had wonderful care from diagnoses to meeting a specialist to the surgery. Health Science Center is a maze of tunnels, towers, and bureaucracy. It is inhabited by thousands of workers who realize that they can't change the whole system. They know they can affect their little piece of the Medicare world we all depend on. I see a list of things that could be improved and dozens of things I don't understand, but I am encouraged that everyone I met seems to want to help and improve their part of the system. But here's a local message, and it is the same theme that I observed at the Health Science Center. Chris had a very quick diagnosis because we have a good group of local doctors. It is only locally that we can change our world. I doubt that even given decades of very direct political involvement, Chris and I will have much influence on the big system. However, locally, we and everyone who lives in small local communities can take our destination in our hands and make a difference for ourselves and our future. Neepawa, or more precisely, the Neepawa Area Development Corporation, known as NADCO, has bought, renovated, and expanded the beautiful Plains Medical Center. Now they have bought more land, 2 pieces in fact, to make room for another large expansion. There are several doctors at the medical clinic and more to come. It is a success story. Without a clinic, there are no doctors. Without doctors, there is no clinic. Without NADCO stepping up, there would not be a successful clinic in Neepawa today. There is no way around it. Neepawa is the medical center of our region, and it is largely because we have a number of doctors. Here's what we can do in the short run. The Beautiful Plains Medical Clinic Lottery is on right now, and it is the only money that has gone into the clinic renovations and expansions, except for the original purchase price. We need to push a little harder, as the medical clinic lottery has never sold out. The Neepawa Natives Lottery sold out in 2016, and it came close in 2017. I think this year the medical clinic lottery needs to sell out. As a community, we need to stand up for ourselves. The town of Neepawa isn't likely to put more money into the clinic. The RMs aren't likely to put more money in. The province is broke, and so there's no point in looking there for money. We, us, the people of the local areas served by the Neepawa Medical Clinic, have the power in our hands to make it happen. Yes, buy a ticket or 2 or 3. This year's lottery needs to sell out. And yes, there are issues. Many Neepawa people still don't have a local doctor. That needs to change, but the only way that situation is going to change is if we expand the clinic and get even more doctors. We have to do it. The Regional Health Authority is trying to do their thing, but it has been local recruitment efforts and the local clinic building that has made the biggest impact. Readers familiar with my views will not be surprised when I say a community has to make its own future. If we passively wait for governments or corporations to help us out, it may not happen. Over the years, we have seen hospitals and schools close, machinery and auto dealers migrate to larger centers. We have seen our schools close. Figuring out our own community's purpose and destiny is the key to success. In one small or really big way, the Neepawa region can build on strength and success. Let's sell out the lottery this year and every year going forward. The benefits are immediate and obvious. The alternative to a strong local clinic is to have everyone drive to Brandon or Portage or Winnipeg for regular doctor visits and many other medical services. We can look after ourselves, folks, and we all need to step up to do so. Look for the lottery posters and ads. The deadlines are coming up fast. If we band together, we can build on our success and together achieve even greater things. It's time to dig in, folks. The alternatives aren't good, and buying a lottery ticket is a pretty painless way we can help to ensure the medical viability of our town and the region. And I certainly agree with that. I was manning the lottery telephones this morning for the early bird draw coming up this weekend, and many people from not only this region but all over the region are participating, so hopefully it does sell out this year. And Rita Friesen's Homebodies column, it's called Canada's Most Famous Suffragist, I think it's called. Bedside book this month. Selected writings by Canada's most famous suffragist, the valiant Nellie McClung. Each page a feast. The book is comprised of columns she wrote from 1936 through to 1942, from the prairies to Parliament to retirement on the West Coast. Nellie records her thoughts and hopes and also her fears. Her words are as pertinent and applicable today as when she wrote them. Refugees, political unrest, faith, and family, the entirety of life. One of the famous 5 women who fought for women's rights to be considered a person and to vote. 2 rights that most people today in Canada barely give a passing thought. I can't imagine not being considered a person. I take my freedom and responsibility to vote seriously. I think I would have liked Nellie McClung as a friend and as a mentor. Fighting for her causes, she remained a lady, using humor and sound logic as her weapons of choice. Wherever she lived and served, her faith anchored her, strengthened her purpose. The years from which these writings were gathered were some of the most tumultuous. The effects of the Dirty 30s and World War I, events with far-reaching tentacles, changed the thinking of the Canadian people. In 1936, speaking of a small church, St. Aidan's, in a rural area on Vancouver Island, she writes, "They have something in this little church which causes them to walk in the light. I can think of no higher compliment for any faith family." January 27, 1940. War is not only a waste of things we can see and touch, but makes heavy inroads on the invisible and intangible things of the spirit. Such is the introduction to a discourse that includes the scene of a mother saying goodbye to a red-cheeked, downy-faced boy to whom she had given much love and care. A boy of the farm who would have been a producer, a builder, a sower of crops, going off to fight for his country. A mother saying goodbye forever to the lad she knew and loved, for even if he returned, he would never be the same. Deep, poignant musing, plucking my heartstrings. 1940, speaking of the influx of newcomers. We have many new people in Canada today, people who are here because of conditions in Europe. They are naturally distraught, homesick, unsettled, and lonely. They need friends more than anything in the world. If we reach out to them and draw them into our society, Canada will be infinitely richer for their presence. We could insert the name of many a country in that statement today. There are refugees and seekers of safety longing to find a home, new friends. Would that we could adopt the same attitude. There isn't a page of her writing that doesn't speak to me, a turn of a phrase, the expression of a faith, or a longing, simple garden scenes, and conversations in high places. Nellie McClung shares her humanness, a gift and a feast. It's always a very, very thoughtful article that she writes. And Out of Helen's Kitchen, and it's titled Recipes from the British Isles. After many kerfuffles through Upper Canada, British, and Lower Canada, French, the British Parliament in 1840 passed the Act of the Union, uniting the two into Providence of Canada. Things were looking up in Canada. However, in Britain, the Industrial Revolution left many unemployed. In Ireland, the potato famine led to starvation, and Scotland was having its own struggles. Many boats were boarded, and their new adventure in Canada began. With the new settlers came their traditions. Each year on January 25th, Robert Burns, Scotland's favorite son and champion of the common people, is celebrated with the piping in of the haggis, some Scotch whiskey. On March 17, the feast day of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, is celebrated with Irish stew and biscuits and wearing of the green. Victoria Day, a holiday weekend, celebrates Queen Victoria's birthday, May the 24th, and signals the unofficial beginning of summer. Halloween celebrations in Canada began with the arrival of Scottish and Irish immigrants in the 1800s. Our United Kingdom pioneer ancestry is not far behind us, as we enjoy such dishes as tatty, which is potato soup, shortbread, Welsh cakes, toad in the hole, hot cross buns, Irish coffee, and pork pies. Today's meat and potatoes dish is brought to you by the Irish. Use bread to sop up the juices. The name comes from the long, slow simmering or coddling of the dish. And I won't read the recipes in their entirety, but one is called Dublin Coddle, and the other is oatmeal slices. And they all look very simple to make, which they would have at that time because they didn't have all the ingredients we have now. So you might want to try them. This is titled Bringing the Past Back to Light. At first glance, Brett Zucchi's hobby might seem a little unusual. Around his day job, you'll find him in cemeteries and public squares, restoring headstones and other stone monuments that have been damaged by time. Zucchi, of Brookdale, started making new headstones 15 years ago, then trained as a memorialist and began working full-time in the industry 10 years ago. He took a break and is now back at it, but not as a full-time business. Zucchi operates under the name B&B Memorial Restoration, and his work involves restoring granite and marble memorials, including cenotaphs, headstones, and plaques. In his business, Zucchi chose to focus on the restoration of existing memorials instead of the sale of new ones. His specialty is the niche market of old and fragile memorials. He explains it's gratifying to take something that looks old and weathered and restore it to its original beauty. It looks as good as new, he said, of the finished product. Zucchi notes he does a lot of work for legions and other monuments related to veterans. The restoration process begins with pressure washing the stone so that it's clean, removing contaminants such as dust and sap. From there, he'll use hand tools or sandblasting to restore the piece to its original condition. Some projects might also require painting. He notes that he was trained in the old techniques. Everything we do is the same as it was in 1905, he said. Serving a niche market has meant that Zucchi has been able to work on a number of unique projects, which are the ones he most enjoys. I take pride in doing stuff out of the ordinary, he said. One of his most memorable projects was restoring a man-made headstone. A fragile project, it required him to spend 4 hours laying on his stomach painting. He has also restored a number of statues on top of memorials, as well as one which was a mix of granite, marble, and brass. It was all types of materials in one, he said. For those without a memorial to restore, Zucchi's business also does custom sandblasting jobs, such as gate posts with names, which he describes as another fun and creative outlet. And he does have a photo here showing a memorial before it was restored and one after. And they do look lovely when they've been restored. And a couple of little photographs here from the Neepawa Wildlife Association showing them transporting fish to Lake Irwin. Members of the Neepawa Wildlife Association recently transported 340 northern pike from Swan Creek Hatchery in Lundar to Lake Irwin. Neepawa Plumbing and Heating donated the use of a trailer and truck to assist with the move. This is the second time in the last 3 years the Neepawa Wildlife Association has restocked the lake. And that's just really excellent, because they have the ice fishing derby in the winter, and it's always nice when you're catching fish. I'm going to read the obituaries now. And the first obituary is Margaret Vinthers, 1924 to 2017. On April 19, 2017, Margaret Vinthers passed away at her residence at Fairview Home at the age of 92, with loving family by her side. Margaret was born in Winnipeg on August 2, 1924, the eldest child of Charles and Mary Grasby of the Cordova district. She grew up on the farm with her siblings, Dorothy, Harold, and Edna, and attended Lorndale School. At age 13, she began working out as hired help for a number of farm families in the rural area. Mom met the love of her life, John, at a community dance, drawn together by their mutual love of old-time music. They were married on October 13, 1945 in Minnedosa, and throughout their life together, they were a team, on and off the dance floor. They farmed in the Brookdale district for 28 years, and all 4 of their children were born during that time. As with most people of that generation, they worked hard and money was tight. But besides providing the basics of life, they provided an environment of warmth, love, humor, encouragement, and acceptance. Although the children were their main focus, they developed strong relationships with friends and neighbors. Mom was an accomplished homemaker, wife, and mother. She loved cooking, baking, sewing, quilting, gardening, canning, and berry picking. She sang in the United Church Choir, belonged to the UCW, and helped out wherever needed. She enjoyed curling, cribbage, crokinole, Scrabble, jigsaw puzzles. Her camera was never far from reach. She also enjoyed any road trips she and Dad were able to go on, and loved family gatherings with her children and grandchildren. In 1974, Mom and Dad moved to Forest, Manitoba, where Mom ran the high school canteen for several years. After moving to Brandon, Mom worked at the Midway Motel and later as a cook at the YWCA. After Dad's death in 1987, Mom eventually moved into Lyons Manor. After 12 enjoyable years there, health issues required one final move to Fairview Home in 2012. There she was comfortable, content, and happy, becoming involved in most of the activities and outings provided there, for as long as her overall health and interest allowed. Mom was a strong woman. She lived alone for almost 30 years after Dad died. She took a trip to Alaska, Portugal, and went on road trips with friends. She took up oil paintings, and each of her family members has one of these cherished keepsakes. She also had a collection of elephants, which represent strength, stamina, and longevity. Definitely some of Mom's qualities. She always showed interest in her family's activities and accomplishments and expressed pride and love for all of us. Near the end, dementia robbed Mom of her long-term memory, but she continued to recognize her family, fought hard, lived in the moment, and maintained her sense of humor and quick wit. Margaret was predeceased by her parents, husband John, sisters Dorothy Brugger and Edna Vinthers, brother Harold Grasby, as well as brothers-in-law Dick Brugger, Clifford Vinthers, and Jake Dick. She is survived by her children, son Neil, Barb Vinthers, daughter Joyce, Dawn Cooling, son Keith, Joanne Vinthers, and son Stephen, Adelaide Vinthers. Also surviving are 10 grandchildren, 9 great-grandchildren, sister-in-law Thelma Grasby, and numerous nieces and nephews. A celebration of Margaret's life, officiated by Rita Friesen, was held Saturday, April 22nd, 2017 at the Brookdale Community Center. Private interment was at the Brookdale Cemetery. As Margaret's family, we extend many thanks to Dr. DeYoung and all the staff at Fairview Home for their care of Mum. To the ER staff on the evening of April 18th, the compassion and empathy shown was exemplary. We extend appreciation and thanks to our families and friends whose expressions of love and support at this time has meant so much to us. Thanks to Jeremy from Brocky Donovan Funeral Services for his assistance, and a special thank you to Rita Friesen for her part in the service to honor Mum. Donations in Margaret's memory can be made to the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba in Brandon or a charity of one's choice. Dorothy Wachowski. Dorothy Wachowski, aged 90 years, passed away peacefully on April 21st, 2017. She is survived by her 3 sons, Ron, Shirley, Gary, Kathy, and Stephen, Sandy. 2 brothers, Ernie and Raymond. 2 sisters, Evelyn and Valerie. 4 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren, as well as many nieces, nephews, relatives, and friends. She is predeceased by her husband, Kenneth Wachowski, brother Alex, and sister Nellie. A visitation will take place on Friday, April 28th at St. Joseph's Catholic Church, Mission, BC at 10 a.m. A funeral mass will follow at 11 a.m. Ernest Ernie Wickstead. With deep sadness, we announce the passing of Ernest Ernie Wickstead on April 29th at the Portage General Hospital. Ernie will be lovingly remembered by his loving wife Betty, son Peter, daughter Heather, Mark, Liam, Owen, and Abby, as well as his nephews and friends. He was predeceased by his parents and his 4 siblings. Ernie was born and raised in the Gladstone area. He was a proud grain and cattle farmer and lived on the same farm for 88 years. He loved his hockey and baseball and was a big Montreal Canadiens fan. Many thanks to the staff and doctors at the Portage General Hospital for the quality of care provided to Ernie. As per his wishes, cremation has taken place and no service will be held. In lieu of flowers, donations may be made to a charity of one's choice. And those are the obituaries. There's a picture of the Vimy Memorial here. I don't know if you can see it, but the sun is right between the 2 pillars. And this photo was taken at the Canadian National Vimy Memorial in France at 4:30 p.m. on April the 9th during the 100th anniversary ceremony. We were honored to be at this event, said David Single of Plumas, adding, we were lucky to get perfect seats close to the front and center. It was a very moving ceremony, and we had the opportunity to talk to many other Canadians from all across the country. As part of the trip, they also spent time touring World War I and II battle sites and cemeteries. Of the trip, Single said, it was a real learning experience, and we now have a better appreciation of what took place. And I do believe anybody that has been there, it leaves them with a profound feeling. I'm just checking here. And Olympic curling trials are coming to Portage La Prairie. Olympic caliber curling is coming to Portage La Prairie. Curling Canada announced on Tuesday, May the 2nd, that the first Canadian mixed doubles Olympic trials will be held January 3rd to the 7th, 2018 at Stride Place, which is the former PCU Centre at Portage. 18 teams will play for the right to represent Canada at the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea, where mixed doubles will make its debut as a medal sport. The trials will feature 18 teams split into 2 pools of 9, and 8 teams will move into a modified double knockout playoff. 7 teams have already been decided for the Canadian Mixed Doubles Olympic trials. Joanne Courtney and Reed Carruthers, Edmonton, Winnipeg. Marlies Kasner and Dustin Kalthoff, Saskatoon. Rachel Holman and Don Morris, Ottawa, Calgary. Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang, Winnipeg, Shanty Bay, Ontario. Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson, Calgary and Winnipeg. Kaylin Virtue and Charlie Thomas, Lethbridge and Calgary. And Emma Miskew and Tyrell Griffith, Ottawa and Kelowna. The remaining 11 teams will be determined from a final regional Bontsville qualifier next fall, with the next 10 highest non-qualified teams on the Canadian Mixed Doubles rankings rounding out the field. The event will follow the 2017 Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings Canadian Curling Trials in Ottawa, where Canada's 4-player men's and women's teams for South Korea will be decided. Members of Canada's Olympic 4-player teams won't be eligible to compete in the Olympic mixed doubles trials because of the rigors of the Olympic curling schedule. This will be an historic event, and we're thrilled to see Portage la Prairie earn the privilege of playing host to the first Canadian Olympic mixed doubles trials, said Peter Inch, chair of Curling Canada's Board of Directors. We know the community will embrace this event because we've seen Portage la Prairie step up repeatedly in the past for the sport of curling. And certainly Manitoba loves its curling, so it should be a good audience to watch this. And bowling, Club 55 League, their April 21st awards. League champions were Pauline Hailstone, Frank Parada, Ellen Grodesky, Lawrence Smith, and Ned Oshust. Roll-off champions were Gail McGregor, Phyllis Mothy, Doreen Smith, Dorothy Moeller, and Marion Single. Bowler of the year for the ladies was Marge Fisher, plus 113 over average, and men Jim King, plus 26 over average. Ladies high single, triple, and average was Vivian Oswald at 336, 766, and an average of 177. Men's high single, Norman Kendall and Jim King, 289. Men's high triple, Norman Kendall and Jim King at 731. Men's high average, Jim King and Frank Parada at 188. And most improved bowler was ladies Sarah Rieger at plus 31, and for the men, Ed Oshust at plus 86. Perfect attendance, which is 75 games, was awarded to 16 bowlers. They did very well. And Santa Clara Baseball League is releasing its regular season schedule, which begins on Wednesday, May 17, with 4 games on the schedule. The Boys of Summer are back as the Santa Clara Baseball League has unveiled its 2017 schedule. Opening night is set for Wednesday, May 17, and we'll see all 8 teams from the Senior AA circuit playing, including the defending champs, the Portage Padres, hosting the Plumas Pirates. Other games include Neepawa at Minnedosa, Carberry at Austin, and Dauphin traveling to Ebb and Flow. The overall schedule will feature each club playing one another twice during the regular season, 1 home and 1 away. League playoffs will begin the week of July 12th. Other notable fixtures this season will include the Senior AA All-Star Game in Brandon, which is July the 21st to 23rd, and the Senior AA Provincial Championship, hosted by Neepawa, from August 11th to the 13th. Because the Santa Clara Baseball League is hosting provincials, that will ensure 2 teams from the league will be involved. And for the Neepawa Cubs, and all start times for the baseball leagues are at 7 p.m. May 17th, Neepawa will be at Minnedosa. May the 24th, Portage at Neepawa. May the 26th, Austin at Neepawa. May the 31st, Ebb and Flow at Neepawa. And there are other other teams on the schedule here, and I've just named the Neepawa ones. And more than just a gun show. A diverse line of products will be a big part of the upcoming Neepawa Wildlife Gun and Collectibles show. And there is a photo showing last year's show, which involved a lot of people. While firearms and firearm accessories are the main attractions at the upcoming Neepawa Wildlife Gun and Collectibles show, many other displays should also pique the interest of local outdoor enthusiasts. The event is organized through the Neepawa Wildlife Association and is set for May 13th at the Yellowhead Center. For this year, around 30 different exhibitors and 80 tables are expected to participate, an increase from the 2016 numbers. Show coordinator Harris Lowe noted that the steady growth that the show has seen over the years is very encouraging. Last year, I believe there were about 26 exhibitors with 64 tables set up. Many of those exhibitors indicated they were very happy with the outcome from the day, and most of them said they would come back this year. So for this year, we hope to have about 30 exhibitors, said Lowe. Another encouraging development in the gun show has been the increase in exhibitors with a more diversified lineup of products. Lowe stated that while the guns are the foundation of the event, having a wide range of other products for the outdoorsman was very important to keep them interested. We looked at expanding the number of other items that are a part of the day to get some more variety. Products like knives, fishing equipment, clothing, antiques, and collectibles. We felt it was important to expand the scope of the day, stressed Lowe. The money raised from admission to the Neepawa Wildlife Gun and Collectibles show will go to fund the Neepawa Junior Rifle Club. Doors open at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May 13th, with the event running throughout the day until 4 p.m. Event admission is $5, with children ages 12 and under allowed in for free. So that's another really interesting event that will be taking place in Neepawa. Spring is definitely a busy time of the year. And Mother's Day is on May the 14th for anybody that may have forgotten. And this is titled Bridging the Distance on Mother's Day. Many modern families are spread out across the country, if not the globe. Some people move away from family to further their careers, while others are called upon to care for others. Children may separate from their parents to witness new travel experiences. Military service may call individuals away from home as well. Distance can make it challenging to spend time together for major holidays and other special occasions, like Mother's Day. But Mother's Day can still be special even if Mom lives hundreds or thousands of miles away. You can embrace technology, and it helps to break down some of the barriers created by distance. It used to be phone calls that were once the way to keep in touch, and now many people utilize various forms of digital communication. Someone who lives across different time zones can talk through texting or the various social media avenues available on computers, phones, and tablets. Video apps like Skype and FaceTime enable you to video chat with others in real time. Come Mother's Day, connect with Mom via such apps so you can watch her open up her gifts. And reconnect with home. If Mom is the one who ventured from home, help her to reconnect with her hometown or another place she feels attached to. Ship her some favorite regional foods that can only be bought in town. Make a photo or video montage of places of interest in town. These little touches of home can mean the world to her. And create a special day. Even if you do not live near your mother, you can still plan a fun day for her in town. Make reservations for a spa, hair salon, or other sources of pampering, and surprise her with all the details. Treat her with the ultimate surprise. If possible, make a surprise visit this Mother's Day. Coordinate the plan with your father or another relative, and then enjoy seeing her eyes light up when you arrive. With a little creativity, even families separated by geography can share the magic of Mother's Day together. That's a very nice little article. And there are, Brenda Nelson's Mother's Day's pottery sale is on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of May on Brown Avenue, and she is again pairing up with Sandra Sobkowicz-Weeb, who has hand-woven accessories and clothing, and together they have a lot of very, very unique and lovely items. There are many, many local businesses that are supporting this page about Mother's Day, so if you do have the banner, please look at the businesses that are supporting this. And I think we're just about getting through here. We have the Beautiful Plains Credit Union update. They had a very successful annual general meeting on April the 12th at the Neepawa Legion Hall, and approximately 110 members were in attendance to enjoy the meal, which was catered by the Neepawa Legion Ladies Auxiliary, and everybody participated in the annual general meeting. The President's message by President Jury noted that the credit union had another profitable year, and it's growing to exceed assets of $116 million during the 2016 fiscal year, with a net income of $501,000 after patronage payment of $200,000, which was paid to the members. With the additional patronage payment of $200,000 from the 2016 fiscal year, the total patronage paid by Beautiful Plains Credit Union since the practice was introduced has now risen to $3.74 million. A new board of directors after the business meeting was announced, and the president is Ron Jessen, vice president Keith Jury, secretary Darren Cameron, and treasurer Gord Sylvester. There were awards presented after, to long service awards, and thanking many for their years of service. Jacqueline Olmsted was recognized for her 3 years of service. Darren Cameron was recognized for 10 years of service, and Ron Jessen for 20 years of service on the board of directors. And Keith Jury was recognized for 35 years of service on the board of directors. It was a very interesting and enjoyable evening. And the credit union certainly supports a lot of activities in town. And I think we've just about read everything that we can read this week on the banner. I'm just kind of taking a really quick look to make sure I haven't missed anything that you would need to know for sure this week. And I don't think we have. I think we've pretty well done it. Just to let you know, the Home Hardware is having their weekly how-to event on May the 10th, and that's how to install a window and door from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. or from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Next week, they'll show you how to insulate an exterior wall. So these are all good for those of you that are handy with tools. There's a nice little article here about designing a garden for all senses, and it's good to realize that when you're designing a garden, you want to look at the visual appeal and the smell and the sound, and that's usually from your wildlife or birds that are enjoying it, and water source if you've got a little water pond. Taste, if you've got fruit-bearing trees and rows of vegetables, and touch. Touch is very important. Just the tactile response that you get from plants. All these things are something that to be considered if you're about to engage in looking in redoing a garden or starting from scratch. And the Lily Nook is having their lily bulb sale. They're located 4 kilometers south of Neepawa on number 5. They've got over 100 cultivars and over 50 varieties of daylilies. Daylilies are lovely. And they're having another little article here about expect the unexpected in renovations, but we'll leave that to you. I think we all realize we can really get into a lot of unexpected things with renovations. So thank you very much for joining us again this week. We hope you'll tune in next week. In the meantime, have a great one.